The title of my project is called Teaching an Old Drug New Tricks, Sensitizing Cancer Cell Lines to 5-fluorouracil by Inhibition of the Cell Cycle Checkpoint Kinase 1. So it's kind of a lengthy title, but essentially what I was doing was I was studying these cancer cell lines, and I was seeing whether inhibition of this cell cycle protein called CHEK1 could then make these cancer cells more sensitive to this chemotherapy agent called 5-fluorouracil. I think the biggest challenge for my research, or I guess this is true for like any research, was sometimes I would get really focused on these like tiny details, and I would chase a question until like that's kind of just like it became all consuming, and then sometimes I would just have to remember to take a step back, and that would put this like detail in the context of the project as a whole. So I think that was a challenge for me, and also another big challenge was like balancing my research schedule with my like everything else I was doing. So obviously like classes, for example. And I mean, in the process of doing this research, I really did fall in love with it, which was really fun. It was really cool, but it was just hard to like draw myself away from that and be like, well, I have to study for my organic chemistry test now. So, I mean, everything eventually worked out, so. Just to put it shortly, it was wonderful. So my principal investigator on this project, Alan Eastman, truly is just like one of the most incredible humans. And I think it's really rare to have that kind of mentor in a science lab who really is just, like you can tell when you meet this guy that like he is just so in love with the science, and that is like his biggest motivation for doing it. So that was really inspirational for me to see. And I honestly have just been so lucky with having so many really great mentors. In this lab and in other labs, but particularly for this project, the principal investigator and the postdoc who mentored me were both just like so incredible, and I just learned so much from them. Obviously what we're doing in the lab isn't like isolated, it's connected to like the scientific community as a whole. So I read I think like hundreds of papers in doing this project, and sometimes a lot of those papers weren't just easy for me to access, so that's I guess where the library came in the most, is where I was able to just like through, I don't really know what it's called, but through like the Get It thing. So essentially like Dartmouth was able to procure these different papers for me, so it just made it really easy, like it just made my life a lot easier. I'm applying to medical school right now, and I'm taking a gap year. So throughout my gap year, I'm going to be working in a lab at Stanford. So it's a lab that I have worked in the past. So I'm really excited to be returning there. It's like a really great group of people to work with, and the project is really cool. So that for 1 year, and then hopefully medical school.